G'day, this is Gary007 and welcome to my channel. So today's topic we're going to talk about getting lower city rep, the various ways we can do that. Before we carry on though, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a thumbs up and a comment below. Your help is much appreciated on my channel. So let's get straight into it. One of the ways to get reputation is to do dungeon dive in Archendon in Terokkar Forest. This is probably the most likely path that you probably follow due to the current state of TBC Classic when it gets released. So there's going to be a lot of people swarming around, so your best bet is to do some dungeon diving. That is the quickest way to get your reputation. So your second option is to do questing in Terokkar Forest. I would probably hang on to these quests until later on down the track if you are dungeon diving to avoid the crowds in TBC Classic. That way you can do them in privacy later on. Now the third option to get lower city rep is to go to Lower Shatrat City, and there is an NPC called Verix. Now this NPC is going to ask you to bring him 30 Iroquois feathers to him. So this is essentially a repeatable rep grind. So you can do this from 0, no rep, all the way up to Honoured. So once you get past Honoured, I don't think you can continue to do this. When you've collected these feathers, you return back to him. He will give you 250 rep and a bag basically of goodies. It's called the Outcast Cache, and inside it it'll have scrolls, it'll have a green item, so on and so forth. But this rep grind, there is a rare spawn that's amongst these three. I think there's about 3 locations that I've spotted them in where you can get some blue items if you're lucky. So it's worth going out and doing this Iroquois feather farm. So once you've got to Honoured and you can't hand these feathers in anymore, you can put these feathers on the auction house. They go for about 1 or 2 gold each, so it's worth collecting them if you're leveling and keeping them to one side and putting them on the auction house to try and pay for your flying mount. So yeah, well worth the grind and going out there and getting the feathers. So I'd like to point out also, if you're in the area, there is an NPC that sits outside of Shadow Labyrinth which sells motes to you. So you can buy motes from this NPC if they are available. These motes then you can turn into primals and you can sell them or use them for your own crafting. So it's worth noting that this NPC just sits outside the door. Since you're in the area doing the lower city farm reputation runs and all the rest of it, it's worth popping in every now and then to see if they are available. So I thought it worth bringing that up. So the other thing I want to bring up, since you're in the area of lower city reputation runs, is the towers that surround Archendon. Now instances, so if you control all 5 of these spirit towers in the bone wastelands, you are able to pick up these spirit shards. Now these spirit shards you can turn in for rewards. Now on the Horde side you go to Stonebreaker village there and you can go to an NPC and hand these in for rewards. There is meta sockets there. Now they're not best in slot, however it doesn't take many spirit shards to get the meta socket, and also it's not going to cost you 200 to 300 gold for a meta socket. So it's well worth going there, trying to control the towers, do your dungeon run, instance run, get your shards. Now the shards vary depending on the instance that you run, however at the end of the day they're very cheap rewards, very easy to get. So yeah, well worth hanging on to these shards, and you can even get an epic ring. So yeah, well worth noting on that. So anyway, thanks for listening to a knucklehead like me, and I'll see you out in Azeroth. Bye.